Hello everybody, welcome to the Football Fill-In. We are in the festive mood today. We've got our Christmas jumpers on. We've got the quiz after this show. Big shout out as well to the Lillington Club. That is where we are today. In there, 2 snooker rooms. Every Wednesday night, a snookering miracle occurs. It's not, it's horrible actually. Right, 2 managerial sackings this weekend. What a Christmas present that is, by the way. Christmas off, lads. Christmas off, most of the season as well if you want. Russell Martin, Gary O'Neill, Gonski. Lads, let's get straight into it. Gaz O'Neill, lads, and Russell Martin have just been given the best Christmas present anybody could ever wish for. Christmas off, a load of money, pay off into the bank. Probably the rest of the year off as well. But a couple of managerial sackings. Boys, it's been an action-packed Premier League weekend. We've got to start with the Manchester derby, though. Watto, talk me through it.
Yeah, I think Guardiola thought he'd got the job done. And with 2 minutes left, he's just about to bring John Stones on. Job done. All of a sudden, Nunes has a moment of madness. And in that period of time, he cannot believe what's happened in 2 minutes.
Tubesy boy?
He just looked shell-shocked, didn't he, Pep?
Yeah.
Just Pep was like, what is going on here? Like, but what has happened at City?
I don't know.
It's just mad.
I need you lot to help me out. I do, because I ain't got a clue what's going on.
It wasn't a game for the neutral, I must say, until the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Miserable, wasn't it?
It was dry when it was proper.
No atmosphere.
No, it was
Didn't feel like there was much of an atmosphere. It was pretty drab, wasn't
bit
it?
of play acting as well.
Bit of play acting. Should we talk about the play acting?
Well, give us your take on it, because I thought the best moment was post-game when Højlund tweets about
nice.
Kyle Walker. And I think that's what football should be.
I love that. I'm all over that, in fact. It was so pathetic, wasn't it? It was. Toes, I'm going to come to you in a minute because I know you are fuming inside. Roy Keane had the best reaction to it. And he got it spot on as well. I don't even know the guy, but that's pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic. It's awful, isn't it?
Is it the nail on the head there? That's the word, pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean, how can that go through your head? And you've got to watch that back and be embarrassed now.
Do players not know that cameras are on? Like, there's multiple cameras.
They do.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's the captain of Man City. So when Tubes is like alluding to why is it 1 win in 11, what has happened, that's your captain of your team. And you feel as though there's something in that dressing room or behind the scenes that's not quite right at the minute at City.
Do you reckon you'd have been able to get some unreal odds? I'm talking millions and billions to 1 of Man City only winning 1 game in 11.
Yes.
You'd have got ridiculous odds,
I reckon
wouldn't
you'd
you?
get 1 trillion to 1.
It would be about that as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's just madness.
Where's it come from, Toes? Like, genuinely, where?
I mean, obviously the Rodri thing, the Rodri injury is the massive thing that everyone sees, but they did win like 5 or 6 after that.
Yeah.
So kind of, but then did everything kind of start to unravel, and I feel like the standards in the dressing room probably has dropped. You've got people like Walker now, people questioning him. You've got the legs in midfield, Gundogan, everything like that. So yeah, I mean, I quite enjoyed did you see the Diallo run up to Pep and
full time?
Made a little bit of a bit of a point. He didn't make no big thing about it, but he just went up to him and
Should we talk about him, by the way, because he has really shone this season. He's somebody that was probably not expecting to start the season or have this much of an influence in Manchester United season. But he's the guy that when he's on the pitch, you know you're going to get full effort, full everything, aren't you?
The one thing that I really like with him is the fact, and we'll go on to the manager and his decisions with Rashford and Garnacho, but I think this guy turns up to work every day and goes about his business properly. So the manager's decided that that's the kind of thing I want in my team. So he's happy to play him in various positions, whether it's wing-back or playing him higher as a winger yesterday, because he knows what he wants and he's going to get from him, and he's infectious with the team. He had a standout performance yesterday, but he's just doing what a manager wants, giving it full gas in a Manchester derby.
But he's had to work for his career at Man U, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Which I think is a massive point. Whereas other people have kind of like your Casemiros have come in and they'll be expected to play and stuff, but Diallo's kind of had to work really hard.
Isn't it amazing that we're in a place in football where somebody working hard is like, oh my God, he's willing to just do it properly. He wants to do it properly and he wants to work hard. Tubesy boy, what do you make of Rashford and Garnacho not even being involved in the matchday squad? And apparently they trained on Sunday morning by themselves.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know what's happened there. I think he said didn't he come out and say it was the way they've been
conducting themselves
and the way they've been mixing with their teammates?
Dressing.
And attire. What would you say about attire?
Mate, I'm all over it. I love it. Do you know why? Because if I was a football manager, I remember Steve Simonson. Do you remember him, the goalkeeper? Yeah?
Yes, I do.
I remember when he signed for Stoke, he had signed from Everton, and at one point he was the British record transfer for a goalkeeper when he signed for Everton, okay? So he's come to Stoke, and he was telling me about David Moyes at Everton, and he said, we all have to turn up to work in a suit every single day, yeah? You don't have to have a tie on. But
to training?
To training. He said, we wear a suit. You have to wear your shoes, you have your suit, and a shirt and a blazer. He says, that's how you turn up for training every single day. And I was like, wow. And he went, no, it's brilliant. He said, standards. He says, that's what it's all about. You just keep your standards high. And then you see the way that some of these kids dress. They're all rolling up to work in their wash bags and Louis Vuitton and the fancy cars and the diamonds and the watches. And I love the fact that Amarin's come in and gone, no, you're at work here, right? You come here to work. When you're in this building and when you're representing Manchester United, you do it properly, you do it professionally, and that's what I want from you. And obviously, they've fell short of that.
Yeah. But what I really like is he didn't make a big drama out of it before. He just said, look, basically, they've not done the bit this week. Oh. But do you know what? Tomorrow's the start of a new week, and they'll get another chance. But he's trying to create
both come in suits like that, sticky bows like that.
And there's an authenticity about that as well, the way he says it. It's not like he's not blagging it. He's not, you know... Yeah, I like it. I like the what he's
What do you think of Nunez's tackle? How sloppy is that, the tackle for the penalty?
Yeah, I mean, he's give the ball away, and it's a bit like I was saying to Water before, that when you step into midfield and you take a big touch and then you end up hitting someone and getting a red card, it's almost panic station, and it's just desperate to win the ball back, and it's clumsy, isn't it?
I've got to say, Mason Mount, I felt so bad.
It's horrible,
Mason.
isn't it? It's horrible.
Literally trying to get back. He's got to start and he's gone off after.
Gary Neville got it right, didn't he, on commentary, where he said he's got the look of somebody who's been in the gym, who's been working hard, and he knows that something's gone wrong again. He knows it. He can feel it. He knows he's going to be out for another period as well.
It's nice of Phil Foden, though, to go over and say...
It's not nice, is it? You don't want to see that sort of thing. But Man United, though, they weren't brilliant, were they? The game wasn't brilliant in total, but fair play to United for getting over the line and getting the 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't know how. I don't know how they've won the game, but they've won the game. And you've got to take that. You just take what you get, don't you? But it's... For Pep, it's... what happens next, really?
I think they're in big trouble at the minute, City, because I don't think, even though he's a real master tactician and thinks about the tactics, I'm not sure you can evolve too much with them. And it's a busy period coming up. We know they're going to be running out of legs. And he's probably waiting for January just to try and get them anywhere near back for that top four, because teams are going to be passing them quite comfortably at the minute.
Can't believe it.
What do you think? Do you think I think about Pep, right, is that if you were to sack a manager now, the one person you'd want to bring in is Pep. Yep. But Pep, a fresh Pep, he looks tired, he looks stressed. But do you let it go on now to the end of the season and just say, look, whatever happens now to the end of the season, and you get to the summer and you reset because it's Pep and you trust what he can do?
Yeah, but
Pep will never get sacked.
No, he'll never get sacked. But he's talking in the press now. He's talking about on a night he's only having soup because his digestive system's crumbling. If he's saying that and you're like one of the main men in the dressing room and this guy's been at the top of the tree, what are you saying to the lads? Oh, mate, the manager can only have soup at night.
It's bonkers, lads, honestly. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Steak and chips.
Come on. But they can. You know that Man City can just beat somebody. We're going to move on to Southampton Spurs in a minute, but you know that Man City are never far away from beating somebody 6-0. You know that as well.
If they won yesterday, they were 6 points behind Liverpool.
Yeah.
They're not.
Maybe it isn't a crisis. Let's talk about Southampton Spurs then, lads. We're going to come to you first. Watto, Russell Martin's been sacked 5-0 at half-time. In fairness to Spurs, they took their foot off the gas because it could have been an absolute massacre, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think for Southampton, I've been there. I were on the back at 2-9-0, so I've been feeling the pain, and I did feel the worst.
It was a set piece coach then, by the way.
Oh, mate, honestly,
are you all right?
I'm recovering.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're in this working men's club today because I'm going to need a drink in a minute. Anyway, let's go.
Do you know what? Something that'll make you
have soup.
Something that'll make you smile is I put Mackie D's delivery order in before the show started.
Perfect.
Our rider is on the way, lads. The show's just started, but our Mackie D's rider is on the way, lads. Sorry, carry on.
I think for Southampton, they were very fortunate that it's Carabao Cup quarter-final week. I know Southampton have got Liverpool, but for Spurs to have Man United on the Thursday night and 5-0 up at half-time just give Ange a free ticket to prepare already for that game.
Yeah.
So obviously it made quite a few. Good players coming on for sure, but the game's done at 5-0.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Southampton, I've just texted the assistant manager. Actually, he's just waiting for news to see whether he's going
to get the
to
chop or
enjoy
not.
his Christmas like me.
But it's impressive from Spurs as well, because they've started the game with young Archie Gray, Jed Spence, who was phenomenal, by the way, lads. Phenomenal. We'll talk about him in a second as well. And then young Lucas Bergvall as well. But for Spurs to start the game with that sort of a young team and still dominate the way they did, that's how damning it is for Southampton, isn't it? Right, Mackie D's devoured. Watto, you were saying that Southampton were quite lucky that Spurs have got a League Cup match in the week, right?
Yeah, I thought seeing that first period of time, I mean, obviously, the first goal, Southampton don't kick it. I think it's 4 after 20 minutes.
25 minutes, it was 5-0.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God. And
Four.
yeah, Maddison scores a 5th on half-time, doesn't he?
25 minutes, it was 4-0.
4-0. Yeah, and you're fearing the worst. And I mean, Maddison scores an unbelievable goal to make it 5.
Yeah.
But then Ange has got the opportunity to make some changes into his team because they've got a quarter-final against Man United on Thursday. And I think that saved Southampton. It was never going to save the manager from losing his job. He will have an opinion that he's kept to his principles, played. We've spoke on here before that maybe it's a dress rehearsal for something bigger in his future, but for Southampton they couldn't cope with it anymore. I think after 3, there were thousands walking out the gates.
Yeah.
At 4-0, there were a few more. The club just can't sustain that, and I think it's gone too far down the line for anybody to save them, if I'm honest. But you can't keep doing the same thing time and time again and expect a different result, so the ownership have had to do something.
This, we're so used to Southampton, Tubes, kind of making trouble for themselves and trying to play out from the back, and this wasn't even a case of this. They were just so far off it. It's like they've been coached really well, but not actually coached how to participate in matches. It's like the match kicks off and it's like, oh, wow, it really matters now. We've got to do it properly. You've got to do the dirty stuff. And they did nothing like that, did they?
I mean, Tottenham came out, didn't they? Strong, like rapid as well. But it is, they keep doing the same thing. It's like, I think it's like you were saying, but it's a confidence thing as well. I think they're just thinking that we are going to get beat.
Yeah.
It just looked weird, the whole atmosphere.
How can you concede that goal the first minute, by the way? You see how open the defence was and they played it through. As a keeper, you're fuming, you're thinking, cheers, lads, what chance have I got now?
Talking about confidence, Tubes, when you kick off a game, right, and you don't touch the ball and they score, that is the ultimate set the tone of, this could be a painful one today, lads.
That's a real kick in the confidence cock, isn't it?
Oh, a massive kick in the confidence cock.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about James Maddison. His finish, the 5th goal, was phenomenal, wasn't it? He had a point to prove, Maddison did, right? He had a point to prove, and he came out, like I say, flying start for Spurs. But him in particular looked $1 million. And that 5th goal that he scored, I just wanted to talk about how strong footballers are, right? Because you look at somebody like James Maddison, he doesn't look particularly big and like whether he'd have much muscle to him. He is so strong, isn't he? Toes.
Yeah,
I mean, he is like to be that nimble, to be that strong whilst off balance.
People like that, you underestimate how well they get their body in.
Yeah.
They get their body in, their ass in, and they're just the lower centre of gravity for the shorter players, of course. But my thing with Maddison is, like, he played 90 minutes on Thursday. When the first time he played 90 minutes, and you kind of think, go on and back it up. And he did. He backed it up with another solid performance. You've just got to keep that consistency, and that's the one thing that people would probably question about
They were giving him space. You don't give James Maddison space.
Yeah.
Because he's like a sat-nav.
Yeah,
he can pin.
If he gets the ball and gets his head up,
so
it's
good.
trouble, isn't it?
Yeah, and they were just sort of...
This is what I'm saying. Southampton, for me, were like, they know what they're supposed to do as a football team, and they're fairly well coached, but you still have to get at to people. You have to really shut them down.
Yeah, look, to win any football match, it doesn't matter what league you play at, you've got to compete against your direct opponent. Yeah. And in any league, if you give a player 2-3 yards, but then you get somebody of Maddison's quality, I mean, he was involved in virtually everything that happened.
Yeah.
They got nowhere near him. I mean, for me, Southampton, they've got one shining light in Diblin, who I think is phenomenal. And they'll do well to get...
What about his pass, by the way?
Anyway,
the outside of the foot.
Outside of the foot, yeah.
Beautiful, isn't it? They should score, really.
He should score, Armstrong,
Yeah, he should,
and he's the one thing they're going to take from this season so far, but you know, whoever comes in, I mean, it's just an impossible job.
Where do Southampton go from here then? Because if they're going to bring another manager in, are they going to want him to play the same style of football? Do they completely flip it on its head and say, no, we need to go a bit more direct? Have they got the players to do that?
Go direct, try and stay in league.
Just do whatever it takes, basically.
Try and stay in the Premier League.
I don't know if they have the players for that. That's the thing. It's the recruitment.
I think the challenge for staying in the league is gone. Whoever comes in.
Do you think?
I think
completely done.
I think whoever comes in, I think they want to avoid the lowest points tally. That would be my first challenge if I were coming in there, because at the minute it looks like that could be the worst. But I wanted to speak to you about, we know Aaron Ramsdale, you know him obviously a lot better than me, unfortunately, is out injured. But what do you make of him being on TNT last night for that game?
I don't like it. It's asking for trouble. When you're asked to do a game that you should be participating in, but you're injured, especially when it's against Spurs, yeah? When you're playing against, if it was an Ipswich or somebody that you've got a fighting chance of maybe winning the game, but when you're up against one of the big boys and you're in a bad run of form yourself, it should just be, no, I'm not doing that. Come on. It's like lambs to the slaughter. And it was so horrible as well, because it's 5-0 at our time. They're asking really tough questions as well. TNT are asking horrible questions that Aaron Ramsdale can't really answer. He don't even want to get involved in answering them, does he? It's horrible. Yeah. It was a squirm fest, wasn't it?
Every goal must have been going in that first half. He must have been going, oh no, this half time is going to be brutal.
Oh, it was brutal. Yeah, he shouldn't have been there, in fairness. Before we move on to Liverpool, Fulham then, Jed Spence. Toes.
Incredible. Great.
How good was he?
Unbelievable. Like, I feel like he was everywhere.
Yeah.
He was on the right side, left side. He was covering the right back, left back. It was, great performance. The one question is, where's he been?
Where's he been?
Yeah.
Do you remember when he signed and Conte put him straight in like the bin, basically, didn't he? He
remember his picture as well to Neil Warnock? Have you seen
that
on social media?
No, go on.
He had a picture of him with a cigar out, because I think Neil Warnock questioned whether he'd ever make it because of his attitude, and obviously got promoted to the Premier League with that picture.
Yeah, made it. Incredible though. What a performance from him. So hopefully we can see a few more of them in the future as well. Liverpool, Fulham, then lads. Liverpool. I don't know whether they will look at this as points dropped or not, because the way the game actually panned out, Liverpool were incredible. Their mentality to carry on, even with 10 men, was just unreal.
Yeah, I think Fulham players alluded to it post-game, that they'd forgot that they'd lost a player, Liverpool, because the relentlessness of the attack. And it were really crazy, because the last 5-10 minutes, both teams obviously wanting to win it. And it's interesting, isn't it? We were talking off air, because like Fulham had snapped your hands off for a point at Anfield, a real tough place to go. But being 1-up and getting Robertson a red card after 20 minutes, they'll probably look at it and think, we've missed the boat here.
Yeah, you'd be licking your lips, wouldn't you, on the pitch?
Yeah.
But we were saying about what do you do as a captain on the pitch, weren't we, or the manager? I think for me, you're 1-0 up, you're playing against 10 men. You're probably thinking, right, let's keep to the game plan. Unless you smell blood and you're baying for blood, you go for it. If not, you just get into half time, wait for the gaffer to hopefully give you the instructions.
Because you know for a fact that Fulham have trained all week playing at a certain style for this game. You're away at Anfield, you know that Liverpool will pop in, it's going to be a tough match. Keep it tight. But when you do go 1-0 up and when you do play against 10 men, you're almost half tempted to go, no, lads, let's put them to the sword here.
Yeah, but don't they say it's sometimes harder to play against 10 men? Why is that?
Because what happens is, subconsciously, you get into a slower sort of state of mind. You think it's going to be easy. You think, so then you start, you'll notice that teams with 11 against 10, they won't move the ball quick enough. So there'll be no intensity to their play. Everything will kind of be like, it'll be a token pass around the back, because they're letting you have it around the back, and people just switch off. And then that's when the other team kind of smell a bit of blood and go, let's go.
And it's interesting, because I think Silva's a really good manager, but we spoke, I can't believe that we talked about it, because Man City just beat them 3-2 earlier, but Fulham should have beat Man City, that might have been the start, because we talked about the tactics. But like you said earlier, their tactics have all changed, because all of a sudden they're 1-0 up, they're down against 10 men. But if they'd been able to sustain what they did and really work on that transition, they'd got the players to really kill Liverpool. And I think Liverpool will be happy to take a point from the game.
Was it a red card, lads?
Yeah, it's not Stonewall, but I think it's a red.
I thought just because he played the ball square, and that's why the ref allowed play to go on and Verge cleared it, I thought he weren't going to give a red card, because if he'd have kicked the ball forward
Yeah.
and his last man, he's definitely clean through. But because of the way he nicked the ball and it will go in
Gone that way
square,
across, yeah.
it will go into somebody else. So I thought he was a little bit unlucky.
Judy boy?
Yeah, a little bit harsh.
What do you think, Foz?
I think it's a red.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. I'm happy with it being a red. I don't think it needs talking about anyway. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a red.
The game were better than it.
The game about a couple of players that we want to talk about. Jota, back from injury, took his goal unbelievably well, Tubes.
Jota the Slotter.
Jota the slaughter. We like it, don't we? We like it. Sat the goalie down as well.
He's had a fantastic career. And I think he's quite underrated.
Definitely.
Like,
Right.
everyone's talking about...
I think Liverpool have missed him. Even though Liverpool have been popping, I think they've still missed having somebody of his calibre. I know he probably wouldn't start every match, but somebody to come on and call upon is
The
unreal,
depth in
isn't
that
it?
squad is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you look at him and he's kind of got that record, hasn't he? Scoring important goals
Yeah.
and coming off the bench and scoring goals. But I mean, another player we've been impressed with is probably Szoboszlai now.
Yeah, lovely
Recently,
player.
he's
He
kind
looks
of really
mega.
come into his own
Yeah.
and dictating games and looking the real deal.
Anthony Robinson, he's on 6 assists for the season.
It's his performance, because obviously he's dealing with Salah in a defensive capacity.
Did he target that? Did Fulham target Anthony Robinson getting some joy down that left-hand side?
I think so, because ultimately there was some good footage where he's really run off the back of Salah.
Yeah.
You're playing a dangerous game if you lose possession and you leave Salah
Yeah.
in them positions. But the one thing you want to do if you're playing at Anfield is you want to get Salah as far away from your goal as is possible. And at some points he obviously didn't want to be really back in his own defensive third. But it was a phenomenal performance by him. And I think you could see at the end of the game, he were like, I'm happy we've got a point, but I think we've missed the boat a bit here.
Yeah,
Because I think that he felt they could have won the game. But I think if you turned it into slot, he's got players coming back, Jota, Christmas coming up. Obviously, we know they've got the Carabao Cup or whatever the cup is this week at Southampton. But I think he should focus on the league and the Champions League. So if you're their manager, how would you view it now going into that Christmas period?
I'd say, first of all, Carabao Cup, put a lot more of the kids out. I agree with you. Premier League, Champions League, that's your bread and butter. That's where you've really got to focus it. And just hope that they don't pick any more injuries up over the Christmas period. They kind of got away with it a little bit at the weekend. I know you might say they dropped points, but Arsenal dropped points as well. Chelsea, fair play to them. They're still popping along. We're going to talk about Chelsea in a minute, Tuesday boy. Don't worry about that.
What team takes a Robinson? Because I think he's been phenomenal.
I think he could get into any of them.
Chelsea?
Into any of them.
You take him over Cucurella?
Yeah, he could take any of them. He could.
Cucurella's been amazing.
Everybody wants
I'm
a
not sure.
flying wing back, a
Yeah.
flying fullback.
He's had a dress rehearsal for replacing Robertson at
There you
Liverpool.
go. And he gets in ahead of Robinson.
I would say so.
He's a younger-
Sorry,
younger
Robinson.
version.
Let's talk about Wolves, Ipswich lads. It is all kicking off down at Molineux, isn't it, Tom? I'm saying this with a bit of a smile on my face. It's a shambles,
Hey,
mate.
we saw your mate's true strengths.
Mate.
Dawson, like, shoveling him off.
Did
Come
you
on,
see
mate.
it?
Come on, mate.
Little
let's
like
get you on.
Nori just kicking his legs, going, "Get off me! Get off me! Stop it!" What's going on? Like, all right, Toes, talk to me. Why has this happened at Wolves now? 2 games in a row, it's kicked off at full time, and it is chaos.
It's the discipline, isn't it, in the dressing room? It's kind of like the standards have dropped,
Yeah.
and now people are just going and doing what they want. And I think that's why O'Neill's lost his job. I think they probably seen that, and I think that's what's happened.
When
Frustration, do you reckon?
It's
Just,
frustrating.
yeah.
When stuff goes bad, Tubes, right? This is where you really see the real characters of people. You know, when the shit hits the fan, if you like, that's when you really start to see people's true colours. And I don't like that I'm seeing this from some of these Wolves players because they've got some.
Is that because they care, though,
But
so much? Or is it because...
there's caring,
It's
but
a
then there's
weird one, isn't it?
losing. You
Showing
can't-
your ass as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
you can't lose control though. You can care, and I understand really caring, but then you can't go and lose control. You can't, and I don't want to see this from the Wolves players because they have got so many. They have got individually, they've got some unreal players that might, if Wolves do go and get relegated this season, we'll probably get a move. There's probably 4 or 5 players in that team that will get a move to a bigger team.
We were saying as well, like about Nori and Cunha now. They're both probably going to be out, and that's
Exactly.
they're 2 of their best players.
Exactly. I mean, Cunha, he's grabbing the glasses off of the guy's face. What is he doing?
Honestly, I've never seen nothing like that. I mean, he's elbowed the reckon it's a security guy from Ipswich. He's elbowed him in the back of the head. 2 guys somehow get hold of him, and he's just, "Hey, look, my glasses are here," and he's just gone.
Give him
Get them here. And,
It's like he scratched them off him as well. It's horrible.
That'll be
I
for you
really
later.
don't understand what's going to happen there with the ban. I mean, that could be an 8 or 10 gamer. But, like, I want to go back to that culture, what Toes is saying in terms of the dressing room. If you're in that dressing room and you see your captain, Lamina, stripped of the captaincy, what is that doing at that time? And it's just causing all this chaos. And you've been in dressing rooms. If your captain gets stripped of that armband,
mate.
and I've worked with Lamina, I don't think he'd have taken that too kind.
No, that's a big problem. It's like, that's big news in the changing room. That's massive news. And he tried to spin it. Gary O'Neill and Wolves tried to spin it as, you know, it's probably a bit too heavy for him, you know, wearing this badge. We just wanted to focus on the pitch and concentrate on just playing good football, you know.
He's
So
not having that,
we're
is he?
taking it
Yeah,
off
he's
him
not.
so that he can just focus, and we'll give it to somebody else. No chance. That's massive news, isn't it?
Massive news. You're denting his ego there
Yeah,
as well.
massive.
Because whether you like it or not, as the captain, so if they come and take the captain's armband off you, that is just a huge statement. You're like, you're wounded because you're thinking, he doesn't trust me.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust me anymore. Like, I'm his safe haven. I'm the one that he trusts. And now he doesn't trust me.
Not
You're
a nice
thinking,
place to be, that, is it?
my back's against the wall.
Tom, Wolves, they're getting relegated? Look at their Premier League fixtures, right? I saw it on Sky this morning, yeah? I think their next 8 Premier League fixtures
After Leicester, is it Leicester next?
They're outrageous. They're so tough. Are they?
It's not as simple as a manager change.
Yeah. Needs to be culture. It needs a culture change down at
change.
Molineux.
Tom, would you give Lamina the armband back?
No.
Thank you, Tom.
Craig Dawson.
Big Craig Dawson. Should we give Ipswich a bit of love then, lads, shall we? Massive win
Liam
for them.
Delat,
Should
by
we
the
talk
way.
about Liam Delat, the big beast?
Absolute unit of a man.
Throwback, isn't he, Tubes?
So good. So good. I think he could go on to big things.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I do. I agree.
He made a couple of them Wolves defenders look like little boys, didn't he? It were like quite embarrassing. But I think Wolves are in big trouble. And this result for Ipswich actually just gives them that little
It's a carrot.
crumb of comfort.
It's a carrot, yeah.
They've got a chance, they've got
I'm
a
looking
chance.
at the league table in front of me now. Ipswich third from bottom on 12 points. Wolves second from bottom on 9 points. Southampton are almost cut adrift already on 5 points. But the fact that Leicester lost, Everton only got a point, that win is absolutely massive.
It gives them a chance. I fear. Obviously, I think you said our Wolves at Leicester next.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a monumental fixture because Leicester will be seeing that, and Van Nistelrooy obviously has had his little bounce, if you like, with the 2 home games. Obviously, we'll come to the Newcastle game, but I think that game for both Wolves and Leicester is just monumental because if Leicester can win it, they're virtually putting the nail in Wolves' coffin.
I'm sure I saw a stat that said Wolves have conceded 20 set-piece goals this season. Toes.
Watto's your man.
Mate, we've played 16 Premier League games this season. They've conceded 20 set-piece goals.
I'll be honest with you. I think that's borderline impossible.
It's so bad.
But what was O'Neill saying in the press after? Was it saying that 2 people decided to take it off their own back to go and switch roles, and they conceded from that goal again? You know.
But mate, honestly, but that's telling you there's no
Trust,
leader.
No,
and I know Sam Johnson's come back in the team,
yeah.
but that's a big facet for you as a goalie.
Yeah.
Knowing that you've conceded so many goals, get organised on that corner and get everybody in situ and do what you're going to do. It's been shocking. We've spoke on the show about it before. They had a set-piece coach. He lasted 3 or 4 games, but whoever's taking on the mantra has still not been able to get the message across. But we're sat here doing this. The thing about set-piece coaching is it's having a belief that the manager puts in you, but the manager's got to give you the time on the training field. And if you're only getting 2 or 3 actions on a Friday, it's not enough. And are you strong enough in a meeting to get your message across? Does he give you the platform in the meetings?
I don't know about you. With set pieces, is the 2 main things is the desire to go and head the ball and the delivery. They're the 2 main things, aren't they? You can set up the best set pieces in the world when you put it in the box, I mean, not when you're going short. But you can have the best set pieces set up in the world. If you don't have someone with a desire to go and head the ball and the quality of the delivery, then you're not going to score many goals.
You need leaders in there. You need leaders in there. It starts from the goalkeeper. It could be your main centre-back. It could be what... But you need leaders in there. It could be the captain that are making sure that there's nobody stood free, there's nobody mismatched, a tall guy against a small guy or something. But then, I agree with you, Toad, it's just... Go and win the ball. Yeah. Be the first one to that ball. Be on the front foot. Be strong. Go, no, I'm going to win this ball today.
That's why you fear for the Wolves, isn't it? They've been so bad. And, Ipswich get a corner. It's the last action of the game. We've got to be better at that moment.
Massively. What about, so can I just say about McKenna? Like afterwards, I thought his interview was incredible.
Yeah.
The way that he said about adapting through the leagues and he wants to adapt and grow. And I think that's kind of where Russell Martin's had his downfall, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I feel like his stock's far higher than
You have to
Martin's.
adapt. You can't there's no way that you can take a team from League One and carry on doing the same thing. You have to adapt to what that league demands.
They're going to be breaking every record that's ever been in terms of goals. That Jack Taylor's goal, that means he's scored in all the leagues now. I think they've got 3 or 4 players who have scored in all the leagues.
What a stat.
And I think he said McKenna, didn't he? 8 of this team were Championship players last year.
Yeah.
So to do what they're doing, I know they're down the bottom.
It's phenomenal.
What about them in League One as well?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
If you've got good lads, Tubesy boy, I promise you, if you've got good lads, hard workers, want to do it properly, you've got half a chance. You've always got half a
But I
chance.
also think that's down to good coaching as well.
Yeah,
So if you've got
totally
players
agree.
playing in League One who are doing it in the Premier League, that's, I know they're good players.
Ipswich, Ipswich, like everybody's kind of partial to Ipswich a little bit, aren't they?
boys.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I don't think unless you're a Norwich fan, nobody really says anything negative about Ipswich, do they?
How can you though? It's just
Yeah.
a bit of a
It's
soft
nice,
spot,
isn't
I
it?
suppose.
We like it. Right, let's move on then. Newcastle, Leicester, boys. The honeymoon period for Ruud van Nistelrooy well and truly over. Even the Leicester players were saying after the game, Newcastle were incredible. The tempo, the everything about it.
Well, sometimes you go to St James's Park and it is a real tough place to go. Newcastle had the bit between the teeth, and the only surprising thing is it took so long to get that first goal. I think if you're Leicester, you're really pleased that you've got Van Nistelrooy in. He's got 4 points from the 2 home games, but you've got to look more solid away from home, and it's not to be overly disrespectful, but I think the Newcastle forward line, seeing Vestergaard and Connor Cody in about 2 centre-halves in a back 4, would have been thinking we've got to make sure this is our day. And it's difficult for them guys because I think both of them are more suited to playing in a 3 because they're going to get some added protection.
What's that Newcastle Raw like, Toes? Toes used to play for Newcastle, you know.
Yeah,
What's it like there when it's popping?
Amazing, yeah. I mean, the fans, the passion, the atmosphere is I think it's got to be right up there.
Yeah, it is right up there. Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately, when I was there, it was a bit of a bleak time, but there was still the good moments. You're like, I mean, you would have played there.
Yeah,
several
banging,
times,
mate.
yeah.
When that gets roaring, and it's like a hill as well.
Yeah.
People don't understand.
Massive. Yeah,
Seriously, it's
absolutely
mad.
big,
It
yeah,
is.
it's amazing.
You'd think every single Premier League football pitch is like it has to be flat, like spirit level flat.
I talk about this whenever we're watching Newcastle. I'm like, you see the slope. They're like slope. I'm like, it's pretty big slope.
Massive
People don't
slope.
realise how big a slope that
It's
is.
only when you're at the top end, you're looking down, you don't really notice it. But when you're down the bottom, looking, you're thinking, my goal kick's not even going to go halfway line here.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
But you see some. It's interesting because you do see the odd penalty miss that bottom end. You know when they strike it hard and go high.
Yeah.
Because it's just
below.
oh shit.
Talking tiny.
I just love that every fan wears a shirt.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a proper club. It's
Yeah,
a proper
proper.
city. Yeah.
Proper. Jacob Murphy, lads, he scored 2 goals in the game. Genuinely could have scored 5. I think he started on the left, played on the right. He's all over the shop. He's just a workhorse for Newcastle, isn't he?
Versatile.
It was phenomenal. Yeah. The overload that they had, Newcastle worked it so quickly as well, would get it across to him, and he was in every single time as well.
I think because he's not one of your superstar signing players. I do think that it gets a lot of stick, and I think you've seen that in his emotion, in his celebration. Yeah. The way he celebrated was almost like, what? Come on, what? I can't hear you anymore, like, you know. Yeah. But I think you got to kind of give him the praise, because he's like your Diallo, for example, where different player, he's worked so hard to get to where he is, whereas other people it kind of gets given to you a bit easier, and fans need to get off his back a little bit.
I hope the fans do change their demeanour towards him now after that. I just think there's no pluses for anyone.
No, he's really a good lad. He don't deserve it. Simple as that.
He's the right type in the dressing room for you, and every time he's on the pitch, he can't always guarantee to be at the top of his game, but he'd give everything for the team, and surely that's what Newcastle fans want.
Tubes, you were saying, weren't you, about in the pub you can have your moan and stuff?
Yeah, you can. Like, as fans, I just don't getting on the back of one of your own players in the stadium. There's no benefits to it to anyone.
Well, it's going to help him, is it?
No, it's not going to help him. He's not going to go, oh, do you know what? They're booing me now.
I'll play better.
He's just going to be deflated and go, oh, well, and do stuff like when he scores. Then he gives it back to him going, oh, like that. And then they go,
pantomime villain.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, did you see Ian Holloway, obviously, just been appointed Swindon manager, hasn't he?
Oh, he's come
and he went in the stands, didn't he? Because one of the fans were giving a certain player pelters, and then he's done an interview for Swindon TV,
Bradford,
and he said, this is not this is not this. But I'll tell you what, that guy can come and have a coffee in my office, but I don't want him. If he's not happy that he's travelled to Bradford, don't come to Bradford. And the team need more than that, and individuals need more than that. You know what I mean? So I think for Murphy, I think he always does a reasonable job for Newcastle. I would be more fearful for Leicester at the minute because they're getting the away from.
Quickly, we're going to talk about Forest Villa in a second. Mads Hermansen came off at half-time though as well. Wardy came on. If they want to make sure they're safe this season, they've got to hope that that's not a bad injury, right?
Yeah, I think he's been probably one of the standout goalies in the league this season. I don't know why he came off, to be fair. Very, very difficult to come
If a
on
goalie
at
gets
half-time.
if a goalie gets to half-time, right, and then comes off, it's never normally as bad as coming off in the game, right?
No, you would think he's been able to keep going, and the physio just said, look, it's...
Maybe it's a dead leg or
Have
something.
they written the
seized
game
up
off
or-
there and
Yeah,
said,
maybe.
"Look, you're more important for the next game"?
I think they
Yeah.
might have been looking at that, but for Ward coming on...
Just don't need it, do you?
No, he didn't even get a feel of the ball before he's having to get it out the back of the net, which is always
Again.
not very nice, not very nice.
Said about Southampton not touching the ball.
Yeah.
Have you ever come on at half-time? know you
Yes, I
usually
have.
start,
I've come on a couple of times. Yeah, I've come on a couple of times. I remember Fabianski came on earlier in the season, or end of last season, or something as well. And his first job was picking the ball out the back of the net. Horrible feeling. That.
It's not too bad if it's a penalty or a free kick or something, but I mean, if you've been on a couple of minutes and you've not touched it, and then all of a sudden, oh my God.
Oh, brilliant! Cheers,
shit,
lads.
yeah.
Forest Villa, Forest are up to 4th, lads. We're 16 games in the Premier League, right? And Nottingham Forest are 4th in the league. I was watching this game. I could not believe that Forest actually went and won this. I really could not. With 5 minutes to go, I'm thinking, this is some win for Villa. Tough place to go, this, by the way. And they completely turned it around. We're going to talk about Forest in a minute, but the main talking point from this game is Emi Martinez's save, isn't it, Watto? Of course it is.
Leave these two to it.
It's the only
It's
thing.
like we could talk about it for 14 hours, couldn't we?
And I
But-
just want to ask what everyone's saying, is it the best save ever? Over to you two.
It's up there, Watto.
I think it's up there. I think it's incredible. I'm so excited about it. I just wish I'd have been able to coach for you to make that save. Why can't you
I
make
weren't
that
good
save?
enough, mate.
Why can't you do that?
I weren't good
The
enough to
coach
make a
weren't good
save
enough.
like that.
No, I think it's a phenomenal save. I think the reaction and everything with it, but like the mindset to be able to do that in that minuscule moment, to react with his left hand like that, I think it's incredible.
Do you know how?
I don't think you'll make one like that ever.
That's the sort of save you don't even make them in training.
No.
Honestly, that is so good. You don't, and you make loads of saves in training, loads of them, right? Never have I seen a save in training as good as that, right? No. The only way he can make the save is because his hand position to start with. He knows his body, everything about it, he is in the right place to be able to make that save, yeah? His hands are low, right?
It's the anticipation. It might come.
He knows, he can smell where, and if the odds are that if he gets a touch there, I need to keep my hands up. So he's got his hands down there anyway, and he's not even looking at the ball or his arm when he's going down. He hasn't got time to. He just has to go down
Trust
there
it, yeah.
and trust it, and gets that little flick on it. And Emi never celebrates saves, never, right? Never celebrates the save. He just does his job and gets up and gets on with it. And for him to punch the air buzzing off it, right? You know it's a special save, lads.
Yeah.
You know it's that was.
I was more happy.
That's honestly. That's the goal.
I love it.
It's the goalie equivalent. It's the goalie equivalent of scoring a hat trick. I promise you, it's the goalie.
It's better than scoring a
Better
hat-trick,
than scoring a
that
hat
much.
trick.
Better than
Is
scoring
it? I mean, that's so good, though. But what about the goal against then? Is that a mistake?
No, it's not a mistake. Again, even then, I'm going to jump on this one, all right? Because the commentator he don't know what he's
I
talking
thought
about.
it was so disrespectful.
So
some of the
disrespectful.
Commentary about that goal.
He has not got a clue, right? So the guy's got a point-blank header from 5 yards, 4.5 yards,
Close,
right?
yeah.
Emi Martinez is in the air trying to spread himself, trying to make his as big as possible, right? And it's hit him in his chest. He's just then to try to push it away. He's pushed it against the other one and it's fallen. It's just bad luck, basically.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It's bad luck.
He's got no reaction time, so he's come from the front post across. The guy's punched a header in, and actually he's unlucky because he's got his frame across there. But because he's punched it straight here and he's already got the block, he's thinking, I want to try and get my hands on it.
around
But
it,
then he's
yeah.
thinking, shit, I'm actually going in the goals here because it's it. If it would have just hit here and bounced out, but because it's here and he's tried to then get it.
That's what's knocked him.
That's what's knocked him
He'd
in.
done a Happy
It's
Gilmore in the baseball thing.
He's
Took it in the chest.
So unlucky, but I don't understand why they're being critical of that. I think
They don't know what to talk. Right, let's talk about Brighton Palace because nothing else matters in that game. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Duran started up front. I'm going to come to you, Tuesday boy. Duran started up front for Villa.
He's looking good, isn't he?
Is that a bit of rotation, or do you think because every time he does play, he's scoring goals, isn't he?
I think it's a bit of rotation
Yeah.
because they're in Europe as well.
Yeah.
But he looks unbelievable.
Did
to
you
me.
see earlier on in the game, right? The ball came to the back post and he went to volley it and he missed it, right? He missed it and the crowd behind went, way, and gave him a bit of grief for it. The ball bounced up and he did this overhead kick, right? It was the most athletic, powerful overhead kick I've ever seen in my life. Just went over the bar. All the Forest fans just went, oh.
Okay.
I'm thinking, you're a specimen, you are, mate. Honestly, it was a thing of absolute beauty. Is this a thing, though, this Champions League hangover, lads? Is it? Because they're competing in the Champions League, they're doing unbelievably well in the Champions League. Sorry, but then the very next game they never seem to win.
I think it's a tough one for them, isn't it? But like I come to the fact that Forest are 4th, Villa are 6th, and I've been one of Emery's biggest advocates, really. But I think Nuno's kind of gone under the radar a bit, not mentioning him and what he's done for that team. I mean, obviously Liverpool top of the league. Forest are the only team to beat them.
Yeah, Forest as well. Toes, what are Forest like? What are Forest as a team?
Honest, hard-working. The belief is there as well. You see, especially to go and get them 2 late goals. There's a real belief there, and for them. At home, I mean, you played at Forest as well.
Tough place to go.
What an atmosphere. And that end, particularly, I don't know what it's called, but they would have sucked the ball in right at the end of the game.
The Trent end.
The Trent end.
Of course,
It is called the Trent end, yeah.
The stand, isn't it?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I think he's doing well.
4th. They're a point ahead, Man City, 2 off of Arsenal now. Phenomenal season, lads. Brighton, Palace, and the M23 derby, Jamie?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not. I get it wrong every single time.
It's the M23
Will you say yes, Jay? Yeah,
It's the M20.
We'll stick with it.
M23
It's the
derby.
M23 derby. Dean Henderson, fantastic game. He actually came on the Fozcast last week, lads. He did. Brilliant episode. Yeah. Brilliant. If you get yourself over to Spotify now and give yourself a watch, we're going to put a little clip on screen now.
Is there anything you do pre-match, like after you warm up, any little things? So I remember Neil Cutler said Ben, he was always amazed that Ben would come in after the warm-up and have a cup of tea and a biscuit. Is there any little routines or rituals that you may have?
Sometimes brush my teeth.
Before the game?
Weird, but if it's a big game and just sometimes maybe just brush my teeth just because it's normality and it just brings you back down to like just feeling real. And
Hold on. You've got to explain this a bit more. I can't leave you.
Do you know what?
There.
I took that off David. David does it. David does it all the time.
So he's
You'd
done the
see him
warm-up.
just chilling, like brushing his teeth. And
Is that because it's that minty, fresh taste and it kind of
I don't know
wakens
what
you a
it
bit?
was.
It's a relaxing thing,
I
surely.
actually don't know whether it was just to chill out, and he was so relaxed and he could perform.
Yeah.
So he could make saves, and I think this guy, like, he'd warm up half-assed, but like chilled out, not really bothered about his warm-up, and then I think, he's not ready today, and he'd pull off a save, and you're like, how the hell have you
Where
done
did that come from?
And it must have been because he was brushing his teeth.
It's that Colgate smile, isn't it?
It's mad, isn't it?
Phenomenal episode. Genuinely, go and give it a watch. Really, really interesting. Talking about his time at Man United, everything. But fantastic performance from him. Couple unbelievable saves. Brighton, they're a little bit inconsistent, right?
I think they'll be a bit disappointed. I think 2 weeks ago they played Southampton at home on a Friday night, maybe 3 weeks ago, and if they'd have won that game, they would have been
drew it,
second.
didn't they?
Yeah, they drew, and they'd have been second in the league. And from that point on, I think they've gone 4 or 5 games and not quite got over the line. But for Palace to go to Brighton, which is for some reason seen as their arch enemy,
Derby,
that
it was a massive win for them
M23.
as well, because with Leicester losing, but Ipswich won.
Yeah.
I think if Palace wouldn't have won this, they'd have been looking over their shoulders at Ipswich thinking, oh, we don't need this, lads, we don't need this.
I think Palace are picking up a bit as well, though, aren't
Yeah,
they?
definitely,
They've
yeah.
definitely turned a corner.
Yeah,
They
well-
were very convincing yesterday against Brighton. It wasn't like
It was
a
accomplished,
tight
wasn't
game.
it?
Yeah, it was like
It's like they've worked out
proper
a
beating.
real style of play
Yeah.
now. Ismail Assar really showing some form now as well. I obviously know him very well from his time at Watford. Fantastic player. You just needed a bit more end product from him sometimes. But now I feel like Palace have worked out how to play him and where to play him, and even himself worked out, I know I can use my pace to get in front of people, get ahead of people.
Well, there's one thing I would say is that Lewis Dunk will be glad to see the back of him, because it was a painful experience for him.
What's that like, Toes, when you're playing against somebody who's rapid and somebody that... I'm not saying you haven't got pace, by the way.
I haven't got
I'm not
pace.
saying that. What I'm saying is that if somebody has got exceptional pace, what's that like?
Scary. It's terrifying.
Is it?
It is terrifying, because you give yourself a yard or two anyway, and because you kind of know when you read the game from where you normally are, and then you take yourself back a couple more yards and put maybe a couple more on top of that. It's a terrible place to be. But when they've got the ball in front of you, you're thinking the striker's got me both ways, because you're hoping he's not great into feet, but you know his threat is in behind. So you're kind of like, you're looking after that behind, but then you're leaving so much space
But you want to
in
go
front,
into him as well.
and yeah, you just kind of you fight a losing battle. You just hope that your players at the top of the pitch stop the ball getting.
I'm glad I'm a goalie.
Then being able to dictate
I'm glad I'm a
what it does.
goalie. Okay, then. So imagine you're playing against a rapid striker and Ismail Assar. Are you happier playing as a 3 or a 2?
3 all day, because you let your one either side go in and deal with him. You deal with what's in behind.
Is this where communication is really important from you as well, then?
Yeah, massive, and also understanding. So like you're accepting your right or your left centre half going into your kind of space in front of you, but them also trusting that you're going to cover their space in behind them. So yeah, but it doesn't just happen overnight. That's how you form relationships. Yeah, it comes from understanding.
Yeah, love that, mate. All right, Tubesy boy, come on then. Let's go to your boys then. I don't know if they're doing this quietly or under the radar or what, but Chelsea just win every week. As simple as that. They look an absolute $1 million. They're 2 points off Liverpool now, even though they've got a game in hand.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing.
And rightly so, though, people are starting to ask the question, can Chelsea go and win the Premier League this year?
But they're definitely in with a shout. I think they're still... But let's go back. Maresca has done a fantastic job.
Agreed.
Like, when Pochettino got sacked or left or whatever happened, I was like, what are we doing? What is this football club doing? Like, you were talking about long-term projects, and then after a season, Poch is gone. And then Maresca, and I was like, where's this come from? Do you know, I mean, like, he's done well at Leicester, obviously, he's got them promoted. But I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's a big ask, isn't it?
But it's a massive ask, and I was like, I didn't know much about him. No one did, really. But my goodness, like, what he's done, to get the boys playing like he has, and put in his way of his thinking and his formation that quickly, and get him to play like they are, is phenomenal. And they all seem to be behind it.
Amongst you Chelsea fans, are you actually thinking, yeah, we can do this year? Are you thinking about it now?
Well, you have to be, because we're 2 points behind the leaders. Yeah. So, yeah, we're in with a shout. I still think there's a few weaknesses. Like, it's not Robert Sanchez's fault, but Maresca wants him to play this way with the ball at his feet. He just can't do it, like, to that level. When the ball is constantly coming back to him, constantly coming back, he's being used as a sweeper. He's not that comfortable with his feet. So I think you've seen the amount of times he's given it away, and I think that's going to cost us a few points, because he's not a ball playing goalkeeper. But I think we need another centre back, which we could sign in January. But apart from that, we are looking unbelievable. I mean, like, Cold Palmer is something else. Sancho, is
found his form, found a home, found a way of playing.
Enzo is made into an attacking midfielder.
Caicedo looks $1 million.
Lavia, I think, is going to be an absolute world beater. So Cucurella,
Nicholas Jackson, finding form.
Yeah. So
you talk about depth. I mean, is Chilwell fit at the moment? What's the situation? Because Cucurella's suspended now.
I mean, he is fit, but he just doesn't fancy him.
Really?
He hasn't. I think he's played like half a game.
Well, I think you'll see a big drop-off now, because obviously Cucurella stupidly got the red card. Yeah. But, like, I don't like his theatrics, but you'd want him in your team.
Yeah.
You'd want him in your team, because his passion and desire, and
he's a ferret.
But he knows how to win, doesn't he?
He winds the opposition.
Yeah, but he's a winner for your team. I think they'll miss him.
Even the goal he scored, look at his header.
Oh my!
It's a great header.
Phenomenal header. Like, a lot of players don't even bother making that run in the first instance, but then once they get there, they don't really want to get in the end of it. So I might get kicked here, I might get headed, I might get punched by the goalie. He didn't care, mate. He's going for it. He's diving headed, full everything.
Brilliant. But they're all like, for the cause. They're all going in.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Because they've been a bit of a bogey team as well, haven't they, Brentford?
Especially at
Stamford Bridge. So I think it was a big win. I mean, Brentford are a good team, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they had the moments, didn't they? Yeah. Sanchez did make a couple of saves, they hit the crossbar, and obviously scored a late goal.
A couple of really good saves from Sanchez.
Yeah, no, he did well in terms of the save.
Great shot stopper.
Really, athletically, he's a specimen, tube. Yeah. I agree with you. What you said, he's not going to be able to play out from the back, because it's not his style, it's not his game.
You can see he's like, here we go again, back, like, and it's like every time he gets it, we're all like,
please.
He is a keeper who's earned his stripes as well, though. He's played down in League Two.
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
He's a great goalkeeper.
Very good.
He's a great goalkeeper, but for that style of play, it's dangerous at times.
But the thing is, when you're saying like you as a spectator, and when there's another 30,000 of you, every time he's just about to get it, and you go, he must be like,
but he can hear that. He can hear that. I promise you, he can hear that. It's horrible.
There's 30,000 just saying, shit, we're just giving him it again.
Quickly before we move on, Nicholas Jackson's finish was a thing of beauty, lads. Honestly, as a goalie, right, when he's running through there, I am betting most of my money that he's putting it down to my right. I'm betting most of my money because it's the easier finish. Yeah, it's just you can come across it and get more pace. And for him to be that calm and composed and not give anything away with his body language and slot it into that far corner, it's a really difficult finish, really difficult finish. The goalie didn't even know what day it was. Yeah. He's like, oh my, it was such a good finish. So fair play to him.
Credit to Jackson as well, because last year he was getting some stick.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and he missed a big chance in that game, didn't he? And
yeah,
he just ballooned it over the bar on his left foot.
I mean, he's still got that in him, but he keeps going,
He's got all the attributes, though, to get the chances.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
As long as he keeps making the runs and doing them, he'll get the chances.
That's one thing he is great at, the runs.
He's so quick.
Yeah.
Remember when we played against them in pre-season?
Rapid.
Oh my.
Scary fast.
Is that a joke?
He was stepping on mushrooms every time he was. I was giving myself more than 2. I think I gave myself 20 yards. I think one time.
You were playing in goal, weren't you?
He was in goal. Actually, I don't know if we had a keeper that game.
I won't, my memory of that is him absolutely rinsing him for pace, and I was thinking, this ain't nice, Toes. I'm sorry, mate. This ain't nice. Right, Arsenal, Everton. Then it's drop points, isn't it? It's as simple as that. If Arsenal don't win the league this season, then it's results like this, the inconsistencies, not scoring goals. This is going to be the reasons why, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they'll come off having played Everton at home. Dyche will have been licking his lips, clean sheet, blocks from his defenders. Pickford made a few good saves. But for Arsenal, I think when a team is so defensive like that against them and didn't really open up, I just wonder, and we spoke off air, just about that real centre-forward killer position, because Odegaard still playing phenomenal passes and intricate things, but they've not got that real killer finisher.
Yeah.
And I said off air that the biggest chance I felt that came in the game were from Tarkowski's back header, and Pickford comes out with his swinging left hand, and Havertz didn't really fancy it, because if he'd have stuck his head in there, it's a red card, penalty, and you go and win the game. And I know that that's been really nitpicking on him, but that's what you've got to do if you're going to get in this title race.
If that was you playing in that game and your centre forward ducked out of that there, are you having him for that?
I don't know, I'm not really someone to speak, am I really? But, yeah, I think 100%, because I would expect it the other way as well.
Yeah.
So I think, you've got to be careful with strikers. You know, strikers are different people. You've got to kind of stroke their ego a bit and like put your arm around them, but you want to be like, if we're all in it, we're all in. Yeah. I need you to be putting your neck on the line.
Say if the shoe was on the other foot, right, and you were down your end, and a striker was going to do an overhead kick, and he's got an open goal, but you could get your head across and get in front of it, you would go and get your head in front of it.
Yeah, you have to, yeah.
You would, wouldn't you?
You have to.
And if you pulled out of it, you would fully expect everybody and their dog to call you out for it, wouldn't you?
100%, yeah. That's the thing. When you're at the back, you've got no choice. Like as a goalkeeper, you've got no choice. You have to go for it.
I'll take one.
As a striker, you've kind of got that.
Next time. You'll have another chance, it's fine.
Yeah, that's the thing that you say about Cucurella. Cucurella with his header just where it would hurt.
Exactly. Stick it in there. The stats from the games, lads. Everton, 0 shots on target, 0 shots off target, 23% possession.
Incredible.
Is it fair to say then, Jules, that they had a game plan going away at the Emirates?
Yeah. Take the draw.
Who do you think's a bigger threat to Chelsea? Arsenal or Liverpool?
Liverpool. I think Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool are favourites, right?
I agree. Yeah. I like the fact, though, that it's a bit tighter and closer now as well. I want to see a 3-all race or a 4-all race.
If only Arsenal had picked the points up this weekend, it would have made it
right on it.
Yeah. And that's why when you come in after the game and you get the weekend's results, that's why Arteta will be really annoyed.
I think they need to sign a centre forward. A proper centre forward.
A big one, yeah. Everybody does them. Everybody wants to sign that one.
I love you.
You take the lap.
I'd take the lap as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But Havertz, what he'd done for Chelsea was amazing, but he's not going to get you 20 goals a season.
No, he's not, is he?
No.
No, he's not. Do you know what time it is, lads? Quiz time.
Yeah.
Quiz time.
You're top.
Jamie, 10 questions?
I got him.
Let's get it on.
Right, football filling quiz in the pub. What are we saying?
Where's your Christmas jumper?
I ain't got
Where is your Christmas jumper?
I need like a Christmas hat or something on or something.
Hold Santa or something.
Right there. Give him the turkey. There you go.
Oh no, I thought the Santa hat.
Yeah. Get that on.
You said it, Jay.
There you go.
We've got the hat on. There we go. There we go.
No,
In a Christmas spirit now. Oh my god, it's so heavy. Oh my god, I'm gonna like fall over.
Your ears aren't sticking out. It's fine.
Not like you look like a little lad.
Just crop my ears back. There we
It's
go.
all right, mate. You're in.
You look a million. Somebody get a picture of this, please.
Oh no. Right. Are we all ready? Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Are we all ready? Question 1. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank finished his career at what club?
Middlesbrough.
No. What do you say, Toes?
Chelsea.
No.
Oh, I know it.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank finished his career at what club?
Burton Albion.
No.
We're all back in yet?
Not yet.
Come on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, you're all back in.
Bolton.
Cardiff.
Cardiff's the correct answer. Well done, Toes.
Very good. Very good.
You're on it today, mate. On it today. You've been reading up.
Question 2. What Nicholas signed for Chelsea?
Jackson.
No.
Anelka.
Anelka.
Anelka's the correct answer.
Did he jump in early doors with a Jackson?
No,
No, they both.
them two.
This is gonna-
Tune, once you've shouted it.
Yeah, I get it.
It was there. It was there.
it was-
2-0 up.
What Nicholas signed for Chelsea from Bolton in 2008?
2-0 Toes there, yeah.
That celebration.
Yeah.
Flying, mate. Flying.
Nah,
Question 3. The Manchester Derby was on this weekend, but can you remember who scored the dramatic last-minute winner when United
Owen.
won 4-3 back in September 2009? Michael Owen.
I did play in that game.
Yeah, that's a bit off cuff, isn't it?
Sorry.
Come on.
Can we have questions where you can't just jump straight in? Start. Remember his,
No, but that was
Your rap last week.
well-constructed
Well
question.
structured, wasn't it? Yeah.
You hated them last week, you did. You were giving me grief for them.
No, I like the constructed ones, well, where you've got to wait. You see
When
how you
he's
tricked him earlier?
yeah, when
You
he's
see how you
when
tricked
he's
him
playing in
earlier?
the games, he likes them.
Yeah, they're
That
good
was Tom.
questions.
That was Tom's question.
They're good questions.
Good.
yeah.
See? They're good. Well done.
Because you didn't fall for it. Question 4. Which English goalkeeper is the highest on the Premier League clean sheets of all time?
Joe Hart.
No.
James.
David James is the correct answer. 169 clean sheets. David Seaman in second, 141, and Nigel Martin in third, for 137.
Nigel Martin, eh?
Nigel Martin with the centre Barton.
Nigel Martin, centre back.
Good effort, that.
Question 5 is a career path question.
Ooh.
I have played for Caen, Marseille, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Perth.
William Gallas.
William Gallas. Correct answer.
Yes.
We're all off the board. So scores are
2-1-1-1.
2-1-1-1. Yep.
Yeah, well done.
Toes.
Well done, Jiminy.
Question 6. Who is Southampton's highest value transfer signing? Who is Southampton's?
Biggest transfer fee paid.
Yep. Into the club.
Aaron Ramsdale.
No.
Pele?
Sorry?
Luciano Pele?
Nope.
It's a bad answer, that.
5.
Money.
No. 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, you're all out. I'm going to give you a clue, 'cause it's quite hard. He currently plays for Newcastle. All back in.
Oh my gosh. Livramento.
Livramento is the correct answer.
You're on fire!
26 million from Chelsea. There's loads on 25
What was
million.
Ramsdale? 20?
I think it's
16?
about 25, 20. Yeah, they're all quite close, but
40 million.
Tino, Livramento.
Fair play.
Question 7. Who was the last English player to join a Madrid team?
Bellingham.
No.
What?
Oh, Conor Gallagher.
Conor Gallagher.
Come on.
Answer.
Oh my, that's so good!
Conor
What
Gallagher.
a question!
Well
done.
It's a draw.
Tom's.
Oh my god.
These are
that
the
is-
questions
yeah.
I'm talking about.
This is better today, Jiminy.
These are the questions I want to see.
Where'd he sign from?
Who got that right then? Tubes.
Tubes,
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Ah.
It's Chelsea, innit?
Yeah,
Chelsea,
Chelsea.
Question 8. When Joe Cole left West Ham in 2014, what club did he
Liverpool.
join?
Marseille.
No. and
Chelsea.
No.
What's that?
Joe Cole.
Yeah.
Went
Wrong.
straight to Chelsea.
Just you.
Say it again then.
When Joe Cole left West Ham in 2014, what club did he join?
Oh, I know it. I know it.
Just Watto in for this one.
Who did you say, Foz?
Not allowed to say.
Who did you say?
I said Chelsea, but I know where it is now.
5,
Is it the
4.
same as me?
3,
I don't know it.
2, 1. You're all back in.
Coventry.
Not Coventry.
Bolton.
You're still in. You're still in. What do you say?
Bolton.
No, not Bolton.
The French.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Hazard played there.
You can't, don't speak out loud.
When Joe Cole left West Ham in 2014,
He's virtually geeted,
what
eh?
club did he
French
join?
team.
I said Marseille and it's
it's not
wrong.
Oh, yeah. I'm not asking you.
5,
No, I'm not judging.
4, 3.
Leon.
No, 2, 1. You're all out. Do you want a clue?
Is it Leo?
Little.
It's not a French team.
Oh.
It's a Premier League team. You're all back in.
Liverpool.
No.
Everton.
No.
What?
Oh my god.
Did he play for Stoke City?
No, it's not Stoke City.
This is horrendous.
Put us
This
all
is
back in.
truth.
Put us all back in.
It's
after
just,
June.
it's
I can't-
me. It's just me. How long have I got?
You've got to put us all back in.
No.
Because you know the answer.
no
No,
other
I don't. I ain't
teams
gotta- I'm just going to
There's no other teams left.
Doesn't know, so you might as well have us all in. We don't
4,
know.
3, 2. Any Premier League club? 1.
Give it to me. Give it a go. Give it another go. You may as well. Aston Villa.
Yes, it's
Aston
Villa.
Villa's the correct answer.
Yeah.
I didn't. I swear on my life, I don't know that. I don't know. I only said put us back in just because Toes is going to march away with it.
That's a great question.
That is such a good
Oh, good question, Jimmy.
Yeah, that
So
was my
he joined
question.
them
That was-
after Chelsea or after Liverpool?
We're going to give it to you, Ben.
Oh, of
Give me
course
a-
you
Oh,
will.
I am taking it.
Of
James.
course
I
you
am
will.
taking it, man.
No
I am
way.
taking it all day long. 3, 2, 2, 1.
Yeah. Question 9. Which club has Manchester City goalkeeper Scott Carson played the most games
West
for?
Brom.
No.
I didn't say that.
You did.
I said West Brom.
I did say West Brom.
You're out. You're out.
You're a twat.
You know the answer though.
What was the question, sorry?
I know the answer now.
What club has Manchester City goalkeeper Scott Carson played the most games for?
I've got a team in my head.
5, 4,
Are we all
3,
I'm going to answer so I'll get back in.
2.
Wigan?
No. 1.
Manchester City.
No. All back in.
Aston Villa.
Derby.
It's the correct answer. What's that?
Yeah.
Derby County.
Come on.
Good answer.
Wait, so it all 2, 2, 2, 3.
Right, yeah. It's so good.
Bit of pressure on now,
It's the
mate.
best quiz yet. I promise you. The questions today, Jamie. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
That's because Luke's back.
Yeah, that's right.
Question 10. Roy Hodgson has managed 4 international football teams. England, Finland. Name one of the other.
Sweden. Sweden.
What
He
you
said
say?
Switzerland.
Switzerland's correct answer.
What did you say? Sweden?
I wouldn't have known that.
And it was Switzerland or UAE. Yeah.
That's 3-all.
3-all, so it goes to
little tiebreak.
tiebreaker.
Just us.
Tiebreaker.
Hey, all the best.
nowhere, Anna.
Yep,
All the best. Yeah.
here we go.
Hopefully voted well, isn't it?
Before we get to the tiebreak, can we all just give Lukey boy a quick round of applause, by the way, because Luke went and proposed to his lovely girlfriend Shan at the weekend, and she said yes, didn't she, Luke? She did. So well done, Shan. All the best. Well done, Lukey boy. Brilliant. Love that. Tiebreak time. Let's get it on.
Question 11. Which player was the most recent player to win the Player of the Month award in the Premier League?
Palmer.
No.
I've seen it.
You've jumped in early doors there. 2 feet.
Only
Which
answer
player
I've got.
was the most recent player to win the Player of the Month award in the Premier League? So it's November's month.
I can see him with it.
Fuck off doing that.
I think
Don't try and give me any answer.
5.
I know it. I know it.
You can't guess. 3, 2,
Gakpo.
no, 1. All back in. Which player was the most recent player to win Player of the Month award in the Premier League?
Let me say it. If they get the
Gothenburg.
No.
if they get the answer cancelled, let me say.
God. for the Wintoes.
Massive this.
I've got nothing. The
Right.
first I've got in my head is Mbuemo.
It's not Mbeumo.
Can I say it? Can I say it? Are they back in?
You're
you going to give them a
You're
chance?
back in. You're back in.
You'll both
It's a
be
final
like,
question.
You'll both be like, what the hell? How have I not got this?
Salah.
Salah to correct.
Yes! Come on! No, you knew it! How did we not get that? Hey? Well played, buddy, well played.
It was a sixth award.
Oh, thank you,
Okay, well
thank
done.
you.
That was incredible. I don't begrudge anyone winning that. That was phenomenal.
Good quiz.
Well done,
I thought
well
it was
done.
Chris Wood.
Yes.
I thought it was Chris Wood. Didn't him and Nuno win it? Like it was a dual kind of.
The manager.
Must have been October.
The manager was Arnie Slot. Yeah.
I definitely didn't.
They
see
must
that.
have just
definitely didn't see it.
Hey, just
It
get,
was.
get
It
this
was.
back up now.
It was his sixth award. His sixth award.
That was
All
phenomenal.
time.
Good quiz, Jay.
Quiz.
Quiz.
Lukey, I knew I'd be back on it when you were back.
Well,
Brilliant.
we've got the Christmas quiz next, haven't we?
Oh,
Hey, who's
Big
the
one.
partners in that?
We're
Partners.
going to pull them out of a hat.
Oh, is it? I thought it was being what?
Oh, it's going to be
We're both on fire.
You're happy then, weren't you? You're thinking, come on.
Best I've seen what?
Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you all soon.
I can't wait.
Lillington Club. Love you, Lillington Club. Well done.